Yes. We are indeed looking again at Petscop adjacent. I don't know a lot about this. I've done that purposefully. And it's interesting that you say that, knockoff Lego games. Because that was one of the points I was going to make. The only sort of things that I'm aware of with regards to this series, this little project of Tony Domenico's, I prefer pressed yes. But I know two things about it. One, it's obviously written by Tony. And two, he was inspired originally by Lego with regards to this one, alongside old sort of early 2000s, early 90s screensavers. That's the only things that I'm aware of with it. I've purposefully not looked at anybody else's stuff. I know that Nick Nocturne's looked at it, and I know that there's a few people that have looked up this. But I've not looked at their stuff. I tend not to do that anyway before I've analysed anything. Reason being, I don't want their views to colour my views. So, as per usual, if there's anything that you have seen from someone else and someone else has said it, it's not me copying them. I have no idea that they've said it. Yeah, oh wow. Indeed, it's very nostalgic. And Tony plays a lot on nostalgia. So let's go through the brief synopsis, shall we? But basically just a short horror story about a screensaver. So, yeah. I did notice that as well, that it says discovery pages. I will get onto that whenever we get to that slide. Oh, did Doom have that installation file? I've never played Doom. There's a lot of things I've never done, and a lot of things I have done. A lot of things I probably should never have done. Well, anyway. Let's begin, shall we? Cool. Right, well that's made it perfect originally. So I was going to highlight this part anyway, so yeah. This is interesting to me. This right here. The discovery pages. This reminds me a lot when it comes to, for instance, Tony's previous works. You've got, obviously, Petscop there, that also mentioned discovery pages, so I don't know what the significance of this is. I don't get it. I don't get where the discovery pages idea came from. My guess is this is something that he used to do. Perhaps when he was younger, trying to figure things out in video games, perhaps. Maybe he set up his own little fact-finding things like we do here. But anyway, let's read this out, shall we? So, what is 3dwi.scr.screen? It's a freeware screensaver. The full title is 3D Workers Island, but most of us prefer to use its file name instead, pronounced 3D Whisker. No, I will call it 3D Workers Island. In 3D Workers Island, 6 characters interact on a tiny island with complex and unpredictable results. Every session tells a different story of the island. Okay. Many have found it to be compelling on levels both technical and emotional. T2's top software gave it a 10 out of 10 score. T2. And wrote about its characters. You will find yourself relating to them and understanding them. You may even confound you and anger you at times. This is another core point when it comes to Tony. It happened with, and I've forgotten its name. It was sort of the predecessor to Petscop. It's been a few years. But his idea of characters in video games and connecting with them. His storytelling style relies a lot on that. That idea of bridging the gap between reality and fiction. So I find that quite interesting. It's probably what led me to being so enamored by Petscop itself, because I do agree with that. I agree with that mentality. The idea of... Point is, and I believe Faye, Kronos and I discussed this in the Discord server. Reality imitating fiction, and fiction imitating reality, both of them bridging the gap in between themselves. There's usually some element of truth in it. Art imitating life and all of that as well. So I find it intriguing that he goes this route. Notice the characters there as well. Amber, Holland, Pat, Joe, Grace and Rebecca. Amber is a big one that is really intriguing, that he's used the name Amber again. And this is an interesting little point that we have, considering the fact that I analysed Petscop for so long. I remember a lot of the different aspects of it, and things that are... And this is probably going to happen throughout it. I'm going to see things that coincide. Almost as if this is in the same universe. Tony Domenico's little pocket dimension of intrigue. So yeah, I find it interesting. If you give me a moment, I'm just going to sort something here. Yeah, exactly that, an MCU of ARGs. I'm just gonna pop on studio mode here, because I do actually have access to a little screen where I can highlight things. So I'm going to just hold off on this a moment and see if I can remember how to get onto studio mode. Oh, sorry. I'll sort it out for next time. For now, I'll just work with this. It'll be useful for the next time around when I'm doing something else. But for now, let's do this. So, the original source of the program is unknown. It was discovered at 3D screensavers. Wow. Screensavers. And it's someone from Newcastle for some reason. But Screensaver's Place, one of many aggregates of screensaver programs appropriated from sources across the internet. The owner of that website, by his own admission, sourced it from a similar screensaver aggregate and could not recall which one. It's not been found. Was it by any chance Garolina? See the history page for a history of 3dwi.scr's discovery and spread, as well as the development of this website. But I can't do that. I can't do that because this is a PowerPoint presentation. Oh, I hope that Tony's able to fix that. Or is that core to the point? Tony's going to reveal things when he deems it worthy to do so. Anyway, we recommend trying 3dwi.scr yourself by downloading it from the download page. The events that occur in 3dwi are not scripted. They unfold dynamically and every session is different, which means you're guaranteed to see things that none of us have seen before. If you discover anything interesting or important that has not been recorded here or discussed on the forum, feel free to send us an email or create a thread on the forum asking about it. But please do not treat this as a place for tall tales. Interesting. That's harkening back to the old bend round days, where everything was done via a message board. Check out the overview page for a more detailed introduction, and 3DWI Discovery Pages was created by me, Pat Lawler, or P. Lawler. Are you noticing the symmetry there? Pat Lawler, Paul Leskowitz. And the technical side is largely run by Singer Rayner. See further info on the contact page. Game jacking? Oh god, yes. Yeah. I would say this is... let's call it... you've got 3 different dimensions in Paul's universe that he's made. He's got the one with the video game. I'll have to remember the video game's name, but currently I can't. But yeah. I think he's got 3 separate universes that he's got. He's got this one, which is his video game universe. Sorry, not this one particularly. He's got the Petscop universe. Then this dimension, which is running a similar vein, but it's different people running the same kind of thing. Looking through something, trying to discover it. Precisely like Paul was doing with Petscop. And then the other one would be his literary writing. Which again, I find very intriguing. He's done very well with this. So, this is the download page. 3DWI installer can be downloaded using any of the links below. Just like you would. He's done that well. It's a 4.22 megabyte download. Wow. Yeah. But the one that seems to be linking up here is Amber. Amber has come up again. Will it be the same Amber? I don't know. Because all we know from Amber is that she was a pet in Petscop, which turned out to be a person that playtested Petscop. So is Amber again the same person? Are they crossing over in the different realities? Which is it? Yeah, indeed. That is indeed Amber, yes. But yeah, you've got your alternate places, 4.22 megabytes. Just let me download it. It's a Windows executable and it's only compatible with the Windows operating systems. Yep. Run the installer and follow the steps of the installation with it. Afterwards, if you're running Windows 95 or later. Wow. You can configure the screensaver by right-clicking on your desktop, choosing Properties, choosing the Screensaver tab, and selecting 3D Workers Island from the drop-down menu. From here, you can start the program manually by clicking Preview. Surely it would just do it on its own. I know you can start it manually by clicking Preview. So, the way that it works is that it does it automatically, but then you can also start it manually. What would be the point? Anyway, if you run into any trouble, create a thread on our forum, see? Going back to the message boards. And somebody is sure to help you out. Well, that's very kind of them. Unfortunately, I don't have access to this message board because it's in someone else's universe. Wow, okay. That's funny as well. You can also technically just do it as open its file from its current location instead of saving the file to the disk. So technically you could just have it set where it's not completely downloaded onto your system. So that's interesting. So its original website was 3D Workers Island scr.com. They've installed it to the desktop, I'm presuming, based on Windows DE. Transfer rate 3.5 kilobytes a second. Wow. Oh. Honestly, I'm really glad of that. I'm glad that that's not a thing anymore. That it takes so bloody long to download things and install things. I recall trying to download... Oh, what was it? I think it was Guild Wars 1 in the early 2000s. And it taking a good day to download the damn thing and to install it. And you're just slowly... It's going back to a similar vein of the Commodore 64, where you would put in the code, then go home, come back the next day, and then it would work. Yeah, and the PC was a beast. Yeah. And still, yeah, my god, that's really good. You're more used to bytes rather than kilobytes. 16 minutes and 20 seconds to do 4.22 megabytes. Oh, how times have changed. I played Guild yeah. I've played Guild Wars 2 as well, yes, that was quite fun. But it very much got to the point where I was too intrigued by the microtransactions. I'd rather not go down that rabbit hole. There are far too many rabbit holes in the world. Microtransactions is not what I want to do. Oh, it's downloaded. And it took 20 minutes. Wow. Anyway, here we go. Welcome. This installation program will install 3D Workers Island. Thank you for installing my program. So not a company. Specifically one person that's made this. Press the next button to start the installation. You can press the cancel button now if you do not want to install 3D Workers Island at this time. Yeah, it's not a company that built this. It's one person. And I like the fact that it's got capitals on each word of it for that bit. As if that's something that they specifically typed in. The rest of it was code. But this bit alone, they typed in. Yep, copy and file. Yep. And this right here is interesting. If you enjoy 3D Workers Island, please spread the word online. It would be much appreciated. Again, similar themes. Petscop was put on YouTube under the guise of, I'm giving this to the world to show that it exists and it's real. Also, again, harkening back to the old Ben Drown days, where it's a case of, this happened, I'm gonna put it on a message board to show that it happened. And I find that interesting. Yeah, and a readme file as well. Also consider reading the readme.txt file because it includes a lot of interesting and useful information about the screensaver. Hopefully, they show that off at some point. Oh, well there you go. There it is. 3D Workers Island is an experimental 3D simulation screensaver for PCs with advanced worker simulation. To start after installation, right-click Desktop, choose Properties, choose Screensaver, choose 3D Workers Island on menu, click Preview. See, again, that's all based on... So, the whole point of screensavers is they come on after a certain amount of time has passed. It saved the screen. That was the whole point. So why do you have to manually begin this? Alternative steps. Click Start, choose Programs, choose 3D Workers Island, choose Start 3D Workers Island. Again, that tells me that it's less of a screensaver and more of an executable just in general. Which it does say, it's a .exe file. To change settings, what on earth could the settings be for a screensaver? No problem, Faye. I'll see you soon. Right-click Desktop, choose Properties, choose Screensaver, choose 3D Workers Island on menu, click Settings. Available settings, Escape to quit, checkbox. If enabled, only the Escape button will quit the program. Geometry quality, slider. You can adjust the detail level of 3D models. That's actually pretty interesting for a screensaver. Simulation quality, adjust the worker simulation rate. make them work faster or slower. Okay. There are 6 characters on the island. Their names are Amber, Holland, Pat, Joe, Grace, and Rebecca. To find out who's who, reference the character card that appears on Startup. So hopefully we get to see that, because that'll hopefully divulge a bit more information on who these characters are. Worker simulation. Workers are an approach to computation. Okay. 3D Workers Island takes advantage of resources in the world. Okay. Welcome to the world in the computer. This technology. And that's all it says. That looks bloody familiar. That is very much the door that leads Paul into the depths of the plane. Ooh, I think it's starting. 3D Workers Island. Okay, so Pat, Rebecca, Joe, yeah, Amber, Holland, Grace. Got a bun. Amber's got a bun. If I recall correctly, Amber had a hat in Petscop, I think. Anyway, so it's beginning. All right, cool. So that's Pat, is it? Is that Pat? Let's go back. No, that's Joe. We need to try and remember these names. Pat, Rebecca, Joe, Amber, Holland, Grace. So that's Joe. Joe is going watering some plants. Very good of you, Joe. Watering the flowers. There's Amber. What's Amber doing? What's your job, Amber? Interacting with Joe. Oh. World. Okay. Okay, fair enough. More girl. It's joined. Wow, 25th of April, 1999. Hey, I just want to say that this thing is so cool. Wow. Gotta be young to say cool in that way. My eyes are glued to it. I'm mesmerized. I just want to keep it on all day and see what the people are up to. But my brother needs the computer for his work. What do you all think, and what's happening on your island today? At 11:11 at that. Oh, well done you. So, Mr. Crook. Yeah, it's a hidden gem of the internet. It kills that Johnny Castaway thing my uncle thinks is so good. Johnny Castaway? What on earth is Johnny Castaway? This is better because the people are like real people you're watching, and you never know what's gonna happen next. I've seen dancing and squirming, the baffling games they play with objects. I like that. The awkward intimacy that looks like hugging sometimes with, and other times looks pornographic, frankly. Pornographic with polygons. Said by a guy called Mr. Crook. And busted. Busted. Wow. Mr. Crook wrote, yeah, agreed. What's happening on your island today? Holland just put a face inside a tree. That's so reminiscent as well. Things like that in message boards, where you would have the, what was it called? Signature, was it? And then it's just, yes, my avatar is trash cans, what of it? Yeah. Oh, we're all here. Okay, so... yeah, that's the entire gang. And the kid has a doll. What's the name of the kid again? I'll pick it up as we go along, it's fine. Not the first time I heard about low poly Gooner action. Listen, I suppose everybody likes a bit of low poly action. Not me, really, but I suppose some people do. Keep it to yourselves. These folks don't even have faces. It's literally like Lego. I'm all good. So the kid's got a doll. And Amber's got a burger. That kid's alone on their own. Okay. Yeah, they're all just wandering around. Why did the kid just drop that in the river? Or the ocean, wherever the hell they are. Stupid kid, what are you playing at? What are you doing? Just letting it sink. Pick it up. Thank you. Anyway, so Amber's going over to the kid. So is Amber the mother in this regard? Or is... they look very similar, to be fair. The one behind Amber and that kid. They look similar. They may be related. Considering they're going over to the kid anyway. That kid is a serious loner over there with the flowers. Kid's fallen over. Burgers. Oh, yeah, we're hammering home a serious point on the kid here. Would you like a burger? Would you like to trade that for the toy? So you stop throwing it in the ocean. Nope. Just take the burger instead. Okay. The child now has a burger. Okay. I think it's great, but it's buggy and just weird. Says that with that picture. Anyway, my roommate keeps talking about how he could do it better. I'd like to see him try. He couldn't even program the turret in our tank game last semester. What an idiot. That is something that happens very commonly. People saying, oh, I can just do that better than them. Well, do it then. Go ahead. No one's stopping you. But yeah. Ugh. Homer. My ma hates TV, but she tells me to Put on the virtual people. I put 3DWI on the projector, and she squints quietly in her recliner for hours. Peace for me. Based on reality TV, I suppose. People are fascinated by the realm of... I don't know whether or not it's Simpson. Might be. Might not be. No idea. But yeah, getting back to the point there. Yeah, people are intrigued and enamored by reality television. And they're living in reality. It's very odd. They like to see what other people are doing. It's the whole idea of people watching, I suppose. To see what other people's lives are like. I like to keep it running in an alcove of my house and check up on it as I'm passing through. That's just creepy. It's good for that. It can surprise you sometimes. The other day I saw Joe take a remote-controlled helicopter out of the house and fly it around. I'd never seen that before. Singer. Singer's one of the guys that works alongside the sort of person that thrusted this website into existence, the discovery boards. So Singer's the admin of the forums. Reality TV is annoying to me as well, because generally it always leads you to question, this can't be real. These people can't be doing these stupid things. These arguments seem fabricated. And then you realise it's very likely that it is real, and these people are just stupid. And that leads you to question, am I also stupid? Anyway. Yeah, so, yeah, Singer can't actually sing. Earl Egger. I keep hearing the stories about this thing, but so far it's boring. I don't get it. I want to know what you guys are doing, because I'm just starting up the program and watching it and nothing's happening. The people are standing around, sitting around, looking around, walking around. They don't have faces, so I don't know what they're feeling or thinking. I don't know what's going on here, guys. It's almost as if you have no mind for imagination. The whole point is that this is based around the idea of these characters do things at random. Or they go along their own set paths. So, my dear Earl, if you're struggling to figure out what that is, this ain't for you. Which characters are you talking about? You know, some people have worked hard enough in their lives and deserve a rest already. This is... what an intriguing one to put on there as their profile picture. Leskowitz number 2. They put on the picture of Amber with the kids. This isn't helping my idea of thinking that Amber is a causal link in Tony's life. Anyway, no, but seriously, what do you mean? I've seen plenty of activity on the island. I do feel a twinge of annoyance when I see a character like Amber sitting around. I want to tell her, hey, you're young, do something interesting. Yeah. Ned Hooker. Okay, actually, it does become entertaining over time. You just have to keep watching. I don't like that mindset. Oh well. I think you'll be surprised by what you see. But you do have to be kind of open to it. You have to be cool. Be cool and things will be shown to you. Personally, I love this screensaver. It's so fucked up. I get that we've not seen whatever it is that's fucked up about it. Well, that's just funny to read. Anyway. So. Is that a whisk? What is that on the floor? Is that a book? Okay. What are you looking at? Who are you looking for? The mindset is what some of us use in order to bully people into liking a game they don't find interesting. Oh yeah, it's good after 100 hours. It's you that's the problem. You've just not put enough time into it. You've not put in as much effort as I have. That's why I enjoy it. Do you mean that mindset? I do find that funny. People that will jump through so many hoops to say that something's good when someone else doesn't like it. It is interesting. Are you jigging? What are you doing? Sunk cost fallacy, yeah. Oh, the chef's back. Hello, chef. Winner. Oh, God. Yeah, 3D Screensavers Palace. That's where it came from. It was just a virus. The old virus pop-ups. Shapes there as well. I did notice that. This program, 3D Cave 2. This program goes above and beyond its predecessor by generating its mysterious caves on the fly. 3D Cave 2 has you exploring an infinite realistic cave world, doesn't look that realistic, and occasionally discovering surprising secrets and treasures. Real and spooky sound effects will make you wonder what's around the next corner. Keep watching for long enough and discover every treasure. What will you find? What will happen in this place? Requires a graphic accelerator with OpenGL support. Wow. I'll go back one as well. So I can just see this shapes bit here. Something shapes, my guess. Multiple shapes. Many different kinds of colourful 3D shapes that appear one after the other, such as cubes, spheres, cylinders, cones, and rings. Oh, we've seen those before. The shapes rotate in trace paths around the screen. Requires DirectX 5 or greater. Yep, okay. Anyway. 3D Works Island. An island with people walking around on it. That's all they've got. Fair enough. Oh, lawn mowing today. Are we, Amber? Okay. Off you go. Watch the flowers. Around the back of the house now. Okay. Overview. What's this strange screensaver you've stumbled upon? The only way to really understand 3DWI is to try it. It works best without words. Okay. But I'll give you my best overview. When you start 3D Workers Island, it will display as 6 characters and a helpful character card that gives you a name for each one. Afterwards, you'll be placed in front of an island, and you will most likely remain on that island until you decide to stop the program. Okay. The characters are powered by a kind of AI technology that the authors refer to as worker simulation. It's clear from simple observation that this tech should not be taken lightly, and just how advanced this AI is seems to... Sorry. This AI seems to be. Right, okay. Sorry. Took me a second to get that sentence properly in my head, but just how advanced this AI is seems to be an ambiguous and controversial question in the community. It's very much a matter of intuition at this point. At the very least, it's good enough to capture the imaginations of many. Workers interact in complex ways. Yes. It looks it. But I know what they're trying to imply there. Whatever's happening under the hood, it's taxing to any PC. The program seems to be fluid in this way. It will use whatever resources are provided to it, but can make do with just about any system that's capable of displaying the 3D graphics. Interesting. So is it able to... Probably similar in vein to how learner programs work these days with artificial intelligence. They utilize as much information as is available to them. What are you saying there, Kronos? Another mindset I don't entirely like, but I'm guilty of, the whole words can't explain thing. It's, I suppose, yeah, it's more of a case of, can you explain it in the same way that you reach that conclusion? Because that's entirely subjective. Not everyone thinks the same way, so I do understand what you mean by that. Impressive or not as a technology, you will find that this is a program of broad and infinite possibilities. Since retiring last November, I've been keeping 3DWI running on the desk in my study, in my bedroom, my living room, my kitchen, and my basement, all running around the clock as I do my household tasks and live my life. What I see on each of these PCs throughout the day is still continuously fresh and novel to me. It makes my home into a very pleasant little world. Interesting. That sounds very similar in vein to Bitcoin mining. But yeah. You'll notice that the island is quiet. 3DWI does not play audio, unlike what you may find in the After Dark products and similar entertainment-based programs. I don't know what they are, but yeah. But very much in line with the default package of screensavers in the Windows operating system, such as 3D Maze and Mystify Your Mind. I'm not sure of Mystify Your Mind, but I know a 3D Maze. The significance of this silence is considerable. It allows the island to disappear. Not really. Despite its heft, it's also light. That makes no sense. There's a sense of ghostly transience, that none of it is really happening and it can all vanish with the flick of a mouse. I suppose, yeah. I can see where you're going with that. Sort of the case of you're holding their existence in your hands. It feels like AI typed this. No, I don't think it is. I think it was very much Tony, and I don't think he was doing it under the intention of it being AI that's written it. It's more of a case of he's trying to be as basic as possible with description. But yeah, I do like that idea. It's again, it's leaning towards the idea of what he had with whatever his name was. I can't remember the name of the game. But the game that he came out with that was built around having the little guy in the top right corner that looked very similar to the avatar in Petscop. And the whole point of it was that was also AI. But more particularly, AI that had the ability for you to interact with it and also at the same time become attached to it. A lot of this is heavily focused around attachment with the virtual world. Anyway, so Amber and the kid interacting, picking things up. Off the child goes, leaving Amber behind. Okay. This is for my son's island project for first grade, which took second place in the contest. I'm proud of him. Oh, it's a model. Okay. Okay, I will admit he mostly played Pajama Sam when I built the island, but he did the written part of the assignment himself. Anyway, here are the photos. No, that's not your job. It's a project for the kid. Don't take the job off the kid. Anyway, the game seeking to be on others to hold the game on their PC. Sorry, could you rephrase that, Kronos? I'm struggling to grasp what you mean with that one. Yeah. Anyway, for now, TPO, that's adorable. Glad your son's school is teaching him about islands. It's not. Jesus Christ, Chris. Your living room's disgusting. Okay. You did a good job with the island. I have some advice. You should not do your son's work for him. Yes. Don't let him get used to the idea that you'll do his assignments. Take it from a fellow parent. Abso-bloody-lutely. Thank you, Paul. Despite the fact his name's not Paul. Other Paul. Anyway. Thanks, appreciate it, but they were expecting parents to help with this one. Yeah, help. Help, not do it for them. You should see what the other kids brought in. Anyway, he did the written part, as I said. Okay. Buddy, my son doesn't like 3D Workers Island one bit. It scares him and he makes me turn it off. Probably know some more about it than you do. Kids are afraid of everything. That's very much not true. My wife and I rented a tape of the Page Master to watch with her niece, and unfortunately we got to the moment where Macaulay Culkin's in the library and gets overtaken and drowned in rivers of paint. And suddenly the tape went nuts and became unreadable. Her niece started screaming. Now she's afraid of getting drowned in paint and turning into a cartoon. That's just purely based on imagination. That makes sense. I don't blame the people who made that movie for making a terrified Macaulay Culkin character get drowned in paint. But some kids really do think it's possible to get swallowed up in a cartoon prison where they can't escape. And hell, if I believed that, I'd be afraid too. Yeah, so shut up, Johnson. Doesn't mean that kids are afraid of everything. It means that kids are afraid of something generally that is rather terrifying to think of. Anyway. Oh, eggs. We've got some eggs. Amber's sneaking up on the eggs. Walking backwards to the eggs. She's talking to a kid. Is that the kid? Or no, that's the larger one. Okay. Arguing. Oh. Hitting the kid. Okay. Good kid, banned user. Jesus. Okay. So Amber's abused again. This happened back in October. In detention, they had me sit in the computer lab where I ostensibly wasn't allowed to play on the computers. Lol. But my computer lab teacher was in their upgrading office and I showed him 3DWI and explained it to him. I swear he was like enchanted by it. Yes, indeed, Frank. Egg. He wanted to install it on all the computers, so we installed it on all the computers together while eating donut holes. Okay. We had some problems, and I had to call my sweet and angelic mommy to tell her why I was still at school, but we eventually got it working after 7 p.m. Jesus Christ. You were in detention. Relax. We turned off the lights and started it going on every computer in the room. It was a powerful experience. That's a... No. Should be talking to the headmaster, principal, whatever, about that. Why was your kid allowed to stay there until 7 o'clock at night? Anyway, just all these different things happening on the island all around us on glowing screens in the dark and silent computer lab at night. Way better than 3D pipes. It felt like this was the way 3DWI was meant to be experienced. What, with multiple people watching it all at once, with different instances? You're under the impression that that's what it's for, then it's parasitic in nature. But yeah, I think those that would like this game are those who are incredibly shut in and lonely. Yeah. It's possible. But yeah, I recommend putting this thing on as many screens as you possibly can. Interesting. But yeah, forgive me, I don't know anything. I'm just a 14-year-old teenage kid. Why was this kid banned? What did this kid do? What were you in detention for? Are we going to find out why this kid was banned? Dress code violations, mainly. I also invented a fake skin disease called Cutilla cuni, and I started incorporating it into some of my written assignments in English and history, even when it had nothing to do with anything. Which, Jesus Christ, okay. Okay, I'll bite. Tell me about Cutilla cuni. Alright. Wow, okay. I'm glad you asked. Skin disease with 4 stages. Redness and sensitivity. Stage 1, skin gaps. Holes or gaps of various sizes exposing dermis. Wow, okay. Stage 2, skin islands. Widespread loss of epidermis, leaving only a number of skin islands on various sizes. Jesus. Stage 3, recession of the islands, leading to complete loss of epidermis. Early stages can be treated and reversed, but stage 3 is irreversible. Stages 1, 2, and 3 are consistently rated 10 on the 1 to 10 pain scale. Screaming and hair pulling and despair. Wow. Okay. Think I know why you're banned now, kid. Anyway. Wheelbarrow. Why the wheelbarrow? Why is that teddy stood up on its own? So we know that this person's a wrong'un, because they hit Amber. Oh, there goes Amber again. So Amber's got the wheelbarrow. What have you got in there? Apples? The hell? Where'd the rock come from? Okay. So they've got some apples. Did I miss anything there? What? Just picked up a rock. Put it down, fell over. Okay, fair enough. Who's your favourite character? Amber. Interesting. No question, Amber. Amber's the answer. They all care about Amber. Amber's good. Amber stays in a cage. If I had to choose a favorite. Why is everyone so enamored by Amber? Is it because Amber is abused? I don't know. I'm offended that the question is even being posed, but I understand you don't know any better. You're better off this way. So yeah, it's because they care about Amber because Amber's being abused. Interesting. I know we're not supposed to talk about those topics here, but we can at least be honest when it comes to questions like this. I'm not going to pretend my favourite character is Holland or Grace or somebody else just so things can stay clean on this forum. And somebody fill me in on the joke here. What's wrong with the other characters? Amber would be a good choice and may have been mine, but I'm sometimes put off by her lazy tendencies. Okay. Naturally, I would choose Pat since by coincidence we share a name, and I believe the 2 children are hers. Another coincidence, as I also have 2 daughters. Oh, Pat. Interesting. Okay. However, I cannot help but feel attracted to Rebecca with her eye-catching red hair and shoes. I can... It's a difficult question. Yeah, I like Rebecca. She has shoes. It's a very childish answer. Anyway. But yeah, I saw the Amber bit there as well. Oh, we're very far out this time. That's quite far away. Okay, kids walking back in. Oh. Okay. Oh, Christ. Right. We're on GeoCities. Wow. Okay. Computer Philosophy 1, Windows. There are of Windows. What? No. There are windows, surely. But anyway, there are of windows everywhere we see them, and anyone could be looking in at you. That's a part of what makes them scary. Ah, so it's this talking about the possibility of them looking back. But yeah, but windows are even scarier when you're when on your. This has got to be a kid. Anyway, when you're the one who looks in them, because of when you never know what you'll see in them. Oh, what did you miss? Amber's the abused one. And all of the people on the message board like Amber. I'm presuming because she's the one that's being abused and they feel an attachment towards her. Yeah, this looks like a website written by a child. Remember the enthusiasm in a market for window into reality in 1996 as the Nintendo 64 broke? Once lore, Project Reality. Of course, the TV screen is really a window into fiction and not reality. Yeah, I see that. The only real window of reality is the one we looked into as a baby and still cannot turn from. Okay. What called the common story theme of falling into asphalt imagery, we bring the inside into the outside, and the outside is the place we're stuck looking. This is the only meaning of... So many ofs. This is the only meaning... I'm trapped in the TV. Okay. When we find out that reality is the thing we look into. But what does that mean? Where are we? Oh, that's very Matrix-esque. One sort of the case of what is it that's real? I like that idea. It's an interesting prospect to consider. What is real? Anyway, what happens when something bad you find responsible for is there? And you do nothing to stop it because it looks through a window and is not real. Ah. Now we're getting into the meat of it. Trapped in here, and I may never return home. What do we mean? Yeah. Okay. What happens when something bad for you... Yeah. But we've already read that bit. Oh, I like the little... I like that. Showing the idea of, yeah, swapping in between. Are we the meat or the viewer? Anyway, a guy simply named Devin. Hello. How are you going? Island. Ms. Toothpaste. Ms. Toothpaste warning level is 0. Okay. Is this Windows Messenger? I know it's you, Plan. I recall you. How's the artistry going? Anyway, so Edward Sucks Zero and Ms. Toothpaste were, with Edward Sucks Zero being the main writer that has taken these screenshots. Well, tell me more about that. So I was with my cousin last week for Thanksgiving. Since last year, they live a 3 hours drive away. It got late and he took me down a dark trail and scared the piss out of me talking about ghosts and murderers. Okay. In a quiet moment, I thought I might change the subject, so I started talking about 3DWI, apropos of nothing. Turns out he knew about it, which caught me off guard. And he carried on with the exact same tone as when he was talking about torture killers a moment earlier, but now talking about 3DWI. Yeah. As if telling me about a conspiracy or something, he went on about the girl in the pink shirt. Oh, it's Amber again. And gave me this long list of ominous things to pay attention to in the screensaver. Amber's really important to Tony's story. Who's Amber to Tony? Anyway. Jesus, okay. Oh, it's one of the Amber shitheads. That's nice. You're right. You do suck, Edward. Those people basically took down the old Discovery Pages website a couple of years ago. They took it down. Interesting. Ruined a good thing. Okay. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Edward. Anyway. When we got back, we watched 3DWI together until 2 AM on the slowest, crappiest computer in the world. We watched until suddenly the computer froze completely because it's siphoning all the resources. But he told me it wasn't really frozen, that actually 3DWI does that on purpose in order to hide things that are happening. Oh, the plot thickens. Okay. I don't know. He was making things up on the spot, or was he? But I think this still meant something to him. Buddy. Okay, so I almost don't want to ask this at all, but I keep hearing certain implications about the screensaver that I don't want to repeat here, but you probably know what I'm talking about. I think maybe it's supposed to be a joke, but if so, I don't find it funny at all. Can someone give me some more info about this? Turn back now! Don't go any further. Listen to sax player. Stop! For your own peace of mind, stop this line of inquiry now and do something else. Don't become another one of us freaks. Yeah, seriously, I wish I could go back to enjoying this screensaver normally. I want to be a normal person again. Please, God, let me forget. What the hell have they done to Amber? But yeah, it censored my swearing, but I was saying I've done the whole telling scary stories on Dark Roads to my dad and then using the same tone to talk about something else immediately after. I talk in the same tone all the time. So anything I say sounds like it could be the greatest thing or the worst thing, who knows? No, I don't think it's Herobrine. I think it's more of a case of this is abuse again and they've grown attached to this character. Is all of this just an allegory for Final Fantasy VII, Tony? Did you not like the fact that Aerith died? Did it hurt you? No, I don't think that's actually the case. Anyway, there are links that can be provided. If you really want them, I can send them to your email. Just let me know. I'm no coward. Here's the link. Peel all the note. Link removed. Go ahead, enjoy. Thanks, P. Anyway, yeah, that's not going to last very long. That chair's in the water. Anyway. Why have you got a lamp? Okay. Oh. Inside 3DWI. Okay. The windows of my living room, covering the walls with wide views of my front and backyards, fill the room with light during the day and an air of vulnerability during the night. My brother crashes here. He sleeps on the couch against the back windows. Sometimes we sit together looking out those windows and tell stories about the house beyond my backyard. So it's a shut-in idea. Yes, thank you, Catherine. I am indeed. Not perfect, but I'm getting better. Oh, God. A man lives in that house with his 2 sons. The curtains are closed, and we imagine our own childhood replaying itself behind them. It's just a stupid game, really, making up stories about the neighbour. I think of it as a way to bond over past experiences. Somehow we get emotional about it anyway, but not emotional enough to do anything. Because, of course, it's a stupid game. There's no point in worrying about those children based on feelings and intuition alone. So that's who Amber is to Tony. Okay. Still, we both find that our dreams become more vivid with time. Lately, we've grown exhausted of that game, but recently I downloaded 3D Workers Island. It plays on a PC in the corner of my living room. You should check out this program. It's a screensaver, which means it only starts when you aren't using your computer. But when it starts, you're on an island. There are people around, but they don't do much. Not when they're outside anyway. Naturally, you wonder what they might be doing inside the windowless red house in the background. That's when things start to go wrong, when you start wondering that. And now we begin another game. As in life, concern begets more concern. The reality is always worse than you think it is. No matter how much you learn, it's always worse. And the only escape is to stop asking to stop digging, to stop learning. This is your chance to stop. The preferred resource for all things 3D Workers Island is called 3DWI Screen Discovery Pages. Created and maintained by Pat Lawler, it covers everything a reasonable person would want to know. You should browse her website first, if you haven't already, because it's quite good. But Pat Lawler doesn't see what we see, or chooses not to. Pat Lawler's implicated. I've created a different kind of resource. Here I take your sightings and I display them for the benefit of others. Together we play this game the way it's meant to be played. Welcome to my website, Inside 3DWI Screen. Beyond here are themes of violent abuse and torture. Continue if you can handle that. I think this is where we're going to get into the meat of things. And the address has been blacked out. What are you doing, Pat? Jesus Christ, okay. But yeah, I removed your link because it breaks the following rule. Rule 5. Do not post links to the website, you know the one. It's nothing more than a collection of pervertive creative writing prompts. I would not usually be so strict about something like this, but clearly there are too many here who cannot stay reasonable and sane while discussing the content of this particular website, so I must make the hard decision of banning it. You can guess what I think about this topic, but let me try and explain the phenomenon occurring here. The fact is, many internet users are children and young adults, and children like to play games. What this means is, you will occasionally find yourself unknowingly pulled into the games played by children. Oh, Pat. On the website, you will primarily find stories told by kids to scare other kids. You will also find so-called analysis of these stories that treats them as true fact to give them legitimacy, but there's no evidence to be found there. I see what you did there. See what you did there, Tony. I hope I've cleared things up for you, buddy. Yeah. Oh, dearie me. Actively cacking things out. It's actually messed up the thing. Wow. Damn you, you broke my screen. It broke my chat. Anyway, I'll have to get a pop-out chat going. It broke the chat and it broke the page. Clearly didn't like that, did it? Anyway. Let's see what we can do to fix this. And I'll have just the pop-out chat instead. Look, it broke everything. What did you do, Tony? Anyway. I'll just refresh the page. And we'll just get back to it that way. Alright. Let's rush through it. Yeah. So all of this will be the same because it's not actually real. There we go. This is going to take a second. Like I said, going to take a second. Bear with me. Right. Okay, there we go. Shut up, Pat. Anyway, more links. Good info about John Sorroway. Okay. And stories of reality. Okay. Speedrun catch up for you, yeah. Thank you, P. Lolo. Well said. Those violent stories are cheesy and over the top. Blood and guts. Believe me, I've been watching this program for so long, I would have seen such things by now. You're clearly missing the point, Singer. It's all about what goes on inside the house. If the screensaver won't open up to you, maybe you need to look within yourself to find the problem. Thank you, Chia. You'd love to think it's all just bloody screaming children. Long before I began seeing through the violent shit, I saw the way Amber was treated by the other islanders. I saw her tiredness, I saw her subtle messages, but you just point at the bleeding children and laugh. Alright then. Yeah. See, I'm getting it. Maybe the real scare was the UI we found along the way. Yeah, it's genuinely killed my chat box and everything. I'll have to reload that in a minute, but it's fine. Why is it always Amber who gets abused and killed in these made-up scenarios? Don't get why this community has an obsession with torturing her specifically. They don't. The point is, it's happening. You're all freaks and sociopaths is my best guess. Hate people that utilize the term sociopath. Sociopath is a very specific set of circumstances. Anyway, maybe I should create my own section for dealing with 3D WI screen hoaxes. Snopes.com has a good system for these. Ratings key: true, false, multiple truth values, undetermined, unclassified, veracity. I would give every one of these stories the red sphere of falseness. False, false, false. Yeah, I bet it is. Pat. Let's place a vote. Who's on Pat's side here? Yes or no? Go on, who's on Pat's side? Boo, Pat, boo, yes. Oh, here we go. There's that guy with that picture again. Jesus fucking Christ, that website. The screenshots and pictures on there are insane. Some of them are obviously straight out of Photoshop, others I don't know. They're all low quality JPEGs for what it's worth. Makes it easy to hide flaws. And that's true, they did used to do that in the past. You're walking into a wall. Okay. Well, we're on to inside. Here you'll find content missing from P. Lola's discovery pages. Her website should be a source of general information about the screensaver, but come back here when you're done. See, they have a healthy mindset when it comes to Pat, which is interesting. But anyway, yeah. Pick a category on the left and browse our collection of user-submitted sightings. Download 3DWI. Let us know what you find by submitting a sighting. Thanks for visiting and tell us your stories. Recent updates. I'm receiving so many emails about this Sam Ferraro business. Though there's not much contention in whether the screenshot of Amber's rare black shirt is real, there's a lot of disagreement about whether the picture on her shirt is really of Sam Ferraro. Okay, since it doesn't exactly match any of the known publicly released photos of him, I've expanded the section to include some of your comments. I may have to look up Sam Ferraro. Okay. On the subject of photos, I've removed a user-submitted photo of from PJR Pin at the request of its original owner. I'm planning on overhauling the category soon, more details to come. Okay. Added a link to Grace's guilt. Great quote, lucky for that girl, her story became an urban legend. Most people don't believe it really happened, even if they are fascinated anyway. Perfect disappearing act, the real transforming into fiction. Now she lives her disgraceful retirement in the remote world of a cartoon. But reality will haunt her conscience forever. Okay. Added some more user submissions to worker degeneration. Grace. Okay. Grace is one of the characters. Added an avalanche of screenshots to strange faces. I can't believe people are walking to the bathroom at night and seeing these things. Making this website has convinced me never to run 3DWI after bedtime. So it's very clearly a kid. Thank you, P. Lawler. No sounds, no faces, wrong on both counts. See, now we're getting to the point where, yeah, since these are updates, it's more of a case of Pat has been annoying this kid. Anyway. Oh, damn. Right, okay, let's get that one. Falling behind on emails. Sorry everybody, but pray for my brother because he's been having a hard time lately. He's in the hospital now. Sometimes you've been broken in ways that don't hit you until decades later. I expect my turn to come soon. When that day comes, my brother will be alive to support me, but for now, let's go. Oh dearie me. That's Mike and Raina levels. What are you guys doing? Okay. Alright, they seem to be rather broken. Oh, are they fighting? Might be fighting. The PGR pin is one of 3DWI's first popular sightings. The letters JPR stand for Pat, Joe, and Rebecca, 3 characters on the island. When these 3 adults approach Amber in the following formation, facing her, it's called a PJR pin. Okay. Amber is in the center of the formation. The PJR pin isn't complete unless all 3 adults are close enough to prevent Amber from moving, or in other words, to pin her in place. Jesus Christ. This is very strict and specific requirement that is not met often. Formations in this particular shape are uncommon between any 4 characters. When they do form, they're spontaneous and brief. They'll usually reorganize themselves into more stable circles, or rather diamonds like this. Yep. Why is the PJR pin significant? According to the stories, it triggers the following sequence of events. All 4 characters disappear instantaneously. Ooh. The world is replaced with darkness. In that darkness appears a photograph of a child in clothes that resemble Amber's pink stripes. She's sometimes injured, sometimes not. An audio clip of a young woman's scream or multiple screams play from the speakers. It's usually interpreted as Amber's voice, but sometimes as the voice of an off-camera witness. Ooh. The world reappears. Pat, Joe, Rebecca, and Amber reappear at the front door of the house one by one. Amber is the last to appear. No evidence of the event remains. So all of them are collectively gunning for Amber. Interesting. Most accounts miss the first 3 steps in the sequence. It's only when they hear the screams that they start paying attention to what's happening on the screen. 3DWI doesn't officially play audio, but many stories report sounds. They usually describe very loud or very quiet sounds like screams or whispers, with little in between. Brackets, we have a page just for whisper-related sightings, most involving Amber's pleas for help. Much pride is taken in the skill of recognizing these whispers as quickly as possible, since they often precede other events for which screenshots are desirable. No whispers precede the PGR pen, unfortunately. So it's something to do with all of those linking up at the same time. So they all gang up on her, drag her into the house, abuse her, and then she comes back out. Interesting. Photographs are also a common theme in these sightings. 3DWI appears to have a heavy preoccupation with a real world, and in particular with real human bodies, from living and healthy to mangled or emaciated or dead. In this case, even when Amber doesn't display any physical injuries, her transformation into a human body is often interpreted as an act of violence itself. In general, any movement between fiction and reality in either direction is treated with an undertone of terror. Well, I mean, when I started this, did I not say that Tony's works have a heavy dose of questioning whether or not what's basically giving you a healthy attachment, well, a rather unhealthy, in fact, attachment towards virtual characters. And again, bridging that gap. Okay. Right, so we are... Yep, we're up to here. Descriptions of the photo vary. It may be that people are seeing the same photo and remembering it differently. It's not hard to believe that a disturbing and sudden scream is shocking people into seeing or remembering injuries that aren't there. But it's also possible that 3DWI is displaying different photos of the same girl at varying levels of injury, perhaps dependent on the context of the simulation. Brackets, as Amber's plight has been shown to progress in severity over time. Who is the girl in the picture? Until we have a legitimate screenshot, we have little to go on, and this one has proven challenging to capture. So this person's called G Key. Okay. Jake the Mad Cow had quite a fright. He writes, "I'm never running it overnight ever again. Holy shit. It woke me the fuck up. I've never been so scared in my entire life. I was asleep and then an ear-splitting scream." Right. What the fuck, P-Lola lied to me. Her website says that there's no sound in the screensaver. Well, guess what? There's sound. Ashley B heard it too and caught a look at something interesting. Ashley writes, "Because it was the last thing I'd ever expected to happen in 3DWI, I have to admit, I was jolted and shaking for a good hour afterwards. I knew the discovery pages were wrong about other things, but somehow this one thing I trusted, and well, my volume was turned up quite high, so it was really something else." Yeah, precisely that way. I think what Tony's trying to do here is a case of there's abuse, it's placed into a game and divulged in a way that makes more people attached to it. Basically, for more people to see it. It's bringing out into the open what usually happens behind closed doors. I only got the shortest glimpse at the screen before it reverted back to the status quo. It was dark, but I saw the dim shape of a human, realistically proportioned, dressed in pink and white like amber. A photograph, I think. It wasn't moving. Harold has an uglier description. Ah, it was so bad. Oh my god, lol. I can only laugh now, but I'm done with this screensaver now, for real this time. I think it's one scream repeated 3 or 4 times, or maybe it was more than one scream. Sounds similar to the Ben drowned thing again. But yeah. And the image was a tasteless display of... Oh, okay. Hey, what have you got on there? What have you got on that laptop? Oh. Kid fell over. Kid's no longer falling over. Anyway, it's getting worse and worse. The more I watch, the more I notice, the more I understand, the more bold it becomes with the things it shows me. Every time I come to some new revelation, the screensaver shows me more. But most other people don't see these things. And if I have someone in the room with me, they don't happen. Interesting. Are you telling me, P. Lawler, with the 10 billion hours she's been watching 3DWI, hasn't seen any of these things? You only see what you are willing to see, I suppose. Getting dangerous in here. Pat Lawler is a criminal. I have a family who used to live down the street from her. Nobody in their right mind would trust Pat Lawler. Pat Lawler shouldn't be allowed to run a 3D Workers fan website. She should be in prison. Ah, there we go. Anyone who wants details is free to message me. I'm Good Kid on AIM. So that's why they were banned. Wow, okay. So that's what banned them. Pat banned them. Yep, banned. P. Lawler's always online. She reads every post the second you submit it. You can't evade her. Oh, what do you know? There she is. Oh, Pat. Going round the back. What the hell? Ha! Nifty, that's the name. Thank you. Thank you very much, Catherine. I'd forgotten the name of it. Oh, okay. Worker degeneration update on the 24th of April. I've decided to stop posting new submissions to this page. This is one of the most well-documented sightings, and at this point I'm receiving mostly redundant info. Thanks for everything you've sent in. Worker degeneration is something akin to injury or damage. This damage is associated with an active entity, which 3DWI calls a worker, hence the name of this page. It's not clear to me how this term came about. It was invented by 3DWI's authors, yet it implies a bit of knowledge about the screensaver's internals, that the injury is associated in some fundamental way with the underlying worker concept. This is especially strange since the only documented cases of worker degeneration are tied to one character, that being Amber. Therefore, it seems premature to generalize this term to such an extent, but I'll use the established name. If you've ever seen a red amber, you've seen worker degeneration. Right, okay. This is an early stage. After this comes compression, and the result looks like this. This red ball is seemingly inert. It doesn't move or interact with anything, but yes, the red ball is amber. Amber is a ball. My god, 3DWI is just like Petscop from Amber's point of view. Jesus, okay. This state has been interpreted as representing dehydration, malnutrition, and/or mutilation. And many other photographic sightings seem to confirm all these interpretations equally, but most of all it's become associated with small muffled screaming and therefore with pain. It doesn't take long for this red ball to start shrinking and quieting down, until sooner or later it can't be seen or heard anymore. Amber will usually respawn from the house at some time after compression, even while the red ball is still visible. What goes on behind closed doors? I think I'm getting an idea of what 3DWI is now. It's made by Pat Lawler. Same way that Petscop was made by Raina and the mother. It's sort of... This is Pat's way of keeping the abuse going. But in Petscop, Raina was trying to stop Paul from getting wrapped up into it. Raina was trying to expose them, as far as I guessed anyway. So yeah, she goes into the house, comes out redder, goes behind the house, comes back redder again, comes back weird and slow, crawls around until pop, she's just a ball on the ground that everyone ignores, and that's that. Turning her into an object. I went away for 8 hours, and when I got back, there's a bunch of red spheres scattered around and making noise. Altogether, it sounded like a chorus of dissonant humming. Now I'm wondering just how long my dog had to listen to that. This one's from Thomas. Thomas was also in Petscop again. How many of them are sitting at the bottom of the ocean? Oh, Jesus Christ. I just can't help but feel hopeless about everything. Nobody will ever help me, and I'll never help myself. I'm too afraid even to reach out. I'm not even writing this right now. This message exists only in my head. This whole website exists only in my head. 3D Workers Island? What is this? Would I really put this online? Would I really give anyone the slightest glimpse into my world? This is fake. This is all fake, and nobody will ever see it. Oh, Tom. I don't think it's a case that Pat sees all of it and doesn't see anything wrong with it. Because that was kind of the point that it was making Pat when those messages were being seen on the message board and someone said, Pat sees all the messages. It immediately went to 3D Workers Island showing the avatar Pat on the website. Which links back to, once again, 3D Workers Island being parasitic in nature. Literally latches on to your network. To Thomas, I hear you and I understand. Suffering in silence is such hard work. Okay. Okay. Recession of the islands. Oh, Christ. Oh. What makes it worse is that it was Amber that pushed that wheelbarrow with all of those spheres in it. And off they go into the ocean. Oh, Tony. God damn it, man. Oh, that is interesting. That's really interesting. But yeah. So with regards to that, I think it's a case that that was made by Pat. Oh, you're a good story writer, Tony. I've got to grant you that.